Hey, good morning. This is a foreigner in the Philippines, and well, this is our first night back home. And as with all vacations, yes, you're sorry to leave, and yet you're glad to get home. So we did experience some like present time nostalgia driving up our road again, bumping and jarring the backbone because there's been no rain. But at least that means that there's no mud and it was an easy ride up. So we were happy to get home. And now we're back into the ordinary life. Well, what has become our ordinary life, and we're happy to be back employed again. So now we've got some exciting projects come in, and one of the things that we're looking at doing is buying a carabao for Lisel. And for Lisel, it seems to be a good move because she's unable to do what they have found to be a way of making some money, and with the carabao they'll be able to do that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to organize that purchase. Well, apart from that, we have some funds that we can go ahead and what we've called the Sister's House. And the Sister's House is a half-built house that we showed you in one of our other videos, and it's in Ubay. So that's going to bring a little more employment, and it will mean reuniting a family who are at present split by economy, or the lack of it. I'll just give you a little brief reminder of what the sister's situation was. She is presently a single mom by virtue of the fact that her husband has to work away. This is a very typical situation in the Philippines, and it's a sad one because it means that a lot of men, looking at it from the man's perspective for a moment, it means that a lot of men don't get to see their children grow in the first years of their life, and so they don't have any input and influence on that. So that's what's happening right now for that family. It's a family with one child, and they live in the same community as Pastor Gilbert and Bewley. So we're going up there today, and we're going to organize a financing of the finishing or at least part finishing of that house of the sister. Now, as soon as they've just got to pay for their living expenses, that family will be able to be reunited. The husband will be able to come home. He's been in that struggle, which is a very familiar one, that you really can't afford to work because almost all of what you're earning is going in living away. Now he lives away and he has to pay obviously for his board and lodgings and for just living expenses, and then he sends what he can home to his wife, who has been trying to finish that house. Of course, the money that he sends has just not been enough. So that's why we were inspired to do the story on that lady and that family, and we got a gift to be able to move on now from Ronin, and that will mean that we have already organized the purchase of materials for finishing, getting towards finishing that house. So we're going up there today to Ubay, and we're going to try to find out what's happening and get things moving. Now, we did have a gift which went to digging the well, and we'll get a work in progress on for the well. We showed another video of how they divined the finding of water at a much closer place, so they don't have that long trek down to that other well, which is by the, in a traditional way actually we found, by the rice fields. So we've been able to go down and help on that. So that's been our day that's been organized today. We're going to make another video in a little while, Beth and I, see if we can't cook up some nonsense, which is never hard. So, how did we enjoy our vacation? Well, it was great, and we really loved traveling. It was a mind-broadening experience for our Talik, and she went from being a child to being an adult child, a young lady, and she really broadened from the experience of being in a really nice home, the home of Joy. And Joy really took care of us, spoiled us to death, for which we can never be grateful enough. Joy, it was wonderful. And then, of course, we came back and we found 2 boxes were waiting from Joy, which she has been fretting on and worrying about whether they were lost. I knew that they wouldn't be lost. Somehow, I just knew it. And we opened the boxes yesterday, and we're still completely overwhelmed by what was gifted to us in those boxes. Now, for Beth and I, we actually live very simply, and we have around us a small extended family. We have Lena and Talik, we have Manorado and Balalut. Balalut lives with Nanai, and then there's the 2 of us. Now, unlike a lot of people that I knew who were pretty well off in Fort Myers, and they have their walk-in closets with line after line of shirts and shorts and pants and shoes, we can only get through so much stuff, you know, and we can only use so much stuff. So a lot of what is gifted to us is really, in reality, is being gifted to our community, one way or another. Now, we've often talked about the joy that's in opening a balikbayan box. So we had this little idea that what we'll do is, instead of just handing out the gifts that we're sharing, the blessings we are sharing, that we simply, like, I've only got 2 legs, I can only wear so many pairs of pants, and so we know lots of other people who can certainly use those gifts, and with the agreement of the generous subscribers who send us those balikbayan boxes, we thought we would make up a balikbayan box. Sorry, I got chopped in half there by a phone call coming in on the phone. So, yeah, we thought we'd make up a pretend balikbayan box and seal it up and take it round and let the kids open it. So we have several small communities which we can work out what best gifts would be and who could have them and all of that, and then make one up. And of course, the 4 little girls, their little community there is actually about 7 or 8 or maybe even 10 kids. So we can certainly make up some packs of stuff for the coming school year, which will resume obviously after the summer. And from Joy especially, we got tons of books which can be made up into packs. We've got lots of copies of the same book, so we'll be able to make up some gift packs that we can give out to the kids. So that will be one thing. We've got some dolls for the 2 little fun kids, Budui and Bijin. They are the 2 almost twins. They're not twins, but we think of them like that. So we'll make up some fun packs and video the opening of those gifts, which I'm sure that Joy will recognize most of what we'll be giving out there. So we'll do that, and we got some of the adult gifts that we can give out, some jeans and t-shirts and stuff like that, and we're looking forward to having some fun on that. So that's going to be one of the other projects that we've got. We have got a special project that's been coming up for a while in our heads, in the same way that the secret house in the mountain came up. That was a project that we used to pass there and see this unfinished house that was there, because we knew that the family couldn't afford to put cladding on it, and it just it just stood there like a skeleton, and we always used to pass and say, wouldn't it be fun to be able to just go in there and with the guys and just put all the cladding on and then run away. We never got to do that because the family suddenly managed to scrape together some money and buy some cladding, and they did what we were going to do. So that was taken away from us, and we left it for a while, and then we bumped into the family coming up the hill. I can't remember who helped who. I think we helped them up the path when they were stuck in the mud with their tricycle, and then they helped us when we were bringing back some plywood for the guest house, and we managed to ditch the whole load of plywood in the road or in the path, and they were there to help us, and that was what bump started the secret house. Well, that's all done now, and the family are in there, and we're planning to go back and do another video showing how they've moved in. But the other project which we've been going by every time I go to the hardware store, if Beth is with me, we look at the side of the road, and down by the side of the road there, off towards some rice fields, there's a couple of houses which are really pitiful. I can't imagine how they ever get through a rainy night, because the roofs just don't look as if they would hold off any water. But they're really tiny, something like about 8 by 8. Hard to imagine, and yet I have seen at least one child down there, and these two houses are in these tiny little compounds. We're going to have to do some research and find out if they actually own that land, and if they have the legal wherewithal to live on that land. Then we're going to go very soon and find out how we can help. So that's going to be an exciting project, which is going to be fun, because these little tiny houses are really Filipino tradition at its poorest. People just managing to scratch by a living in little houses that they've cobbled together themselves. It's all nipa, all built into the ground on posts. It's going to be interesting to see that, and we're looking forward to hoping to raise the funds to be able to do that, and that will be the two little houses. So they're very close together, and we'll hope to employ another team of guys to be able to move in and build them each a house. So we'll be letting you know about that. So that's kind of what we've got. At the moment we're involved in a load of other things, trying to get our guest house finished. Still got lots of stuff that we can do on that, electrics and stuff like that. So we're busy right back in at the deep end, which is how we've come to like it. So thanks for looking in. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Talk to you very soon.